sister. You see, Jehovah's Witnesses didn't celebrate holidays. As Jehovah's Witnesses, we didn't. And also, she wasn't supposed to call and talk to me anyway. But when she called me, it was just as if for her we talked every single day. And for me, I was really wondering why she was calling me. But she said, I was just wondering what are you going to do for Thanksgiving? It's around Thanksgiving. And I said, well, I just moved into a new house. And I said, well, we're going to have Thanksgiving down here. She said, well, can I cook the turkey? And I said, well, yeah, I guess you can if you want to. And all the while, I didn't want to say, well, what's going on with you? Or what's going on? Or you wanted to cook the turkey and come eat. But she did. She came and we had Thanksgiving. And being the big sister that I was, I immediately showed her the party life. Because you can also get addicted to that lifestyle. You may not be an alcoholic. You may not be addicted to any specific drug. It's the lifestyle of the partying. And I felt like that was the life that I needed. I didn't know any other way to go. It was about this same time that my daughter had two close friends that knew that she didn't have Jesus, didn't know Jesus, hadn't been taught anything about him, because when I quit going to the Kingdom Hall, I didn't talk about religion anymore to my kids. And I thank God for her, that she let him use her to take my daughter to church and show my daughter that there was a better way. She kept on coming and getting her and taking her to the churches until my daughter got saved. And my daughter mentioned that to me. She'd say she was going to church and I would just brush it off. Because I wasn't going to go into church because you weren't supposed to do that. You didn't go into a church if you were a Jehovah's Witness. Even though I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, I still had that mindset. From 1996 until 2001, I was in the worst addiction that could ever be heard of. It's at epidemic proportions right now. It's addiction to methamphetamine. This is not a prejudice addiction. It touches everyone in some way or another. If you don't have a relative in your family, it could be the person that's waiting on you at Golden Gallon. It could be someone you run into at Walmart. This is the worst addiction that anyone could ever face. I got so bad at one point in time that my daughter would not even let my granddaughter come to see me without her around. I was already a grandmother and about to be a grandmother again, and I was still an addict. Still lost, and still had that storm inside me that I didn't know what it was there and how to get rid of it. On Mother's Day 2001, my daughter wrote me a note in my Mother's Day card. And I carried it with me that whole year. And I would read it whenever I felt like I needed to go back to the lifestyle that I was in. I'm going to read it to you now. Mama, I know that we have not been very close in the last year or so, but I will always love you, and I know that you will always love me. I'm just waiting for the day that we can become close like we used to be. We used to call each other all the time, and since things have been like they are, I haven't been able to share my everyday life with you. But I'm going to be patient, and I know that one day soon you will magically turn back into the loving mother and nana that we love and know so well. My dream is for you to be close to Jaden like you are Amber. We love you. Misty, your always loving daughter. This was my saving grace, this note. when she gave me this, I knew that I had to get my life back into control. The statistics on methamphetamine addicts that recover and stay clean is only 1%. And I truly believe that without a divine intervention, it's almost impossible. I wanted my life back, and I wanted to be there for my kids and my grandkids. I tried on my own throughout that whole year to get away from methamphetamine and the people that I was used to being around with. But I truly believe that without Jesus, that you cannot stop that. So when I was by myself at my house, I was to what they call the rock bottom. I didn't know where else to turn or what else to do because I didn't know what it meant to be saved. I didn't know what it meant for Jesus to step into your life and let Him take all your hurts away from you. But that day in my house, I got down on my knees and cried. I cried out to God. I cried out to Jehovah. I cried out to whoever He was up there listening to me, if He was there, that I needed help, and I needed help right away. And if it be Jehovah's Witness, send one to my door. If it's not, please give me a sign. I didn't know right away what was happening to me, but over the course of the next few days, I felt different on the inside. I felt like there was some type of a peace, or I didn't know what it was. And my daughter didn't call me a whole lot. But that Sunday morning, she called me and she said, Mama, she said, what are you doing today? And I said, well, I don't know. I said, I'm off from work. And she said, do you want to go to church with me and the girls? And then it hit me. That was my sign. I said, yes, I do. The storm in me that was there for so many years was gone. And I finally knew that it was gone. But it still wasn't then that I realized what had happened to me. Because the devil wasn't ready to let me go. People that call themselves friends when you're in that type of lifestyle, they don't want to let you go. So I had the call from one of the people that I used to hang around with. I'd been going to church. But he called and wanted me to come down to where they were at. And I said, well, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. And I thought about it for a while, and I thought, well, what could it hurt? I might as well ride down there. So as I was walking out to my car, there was a car come down my highway going very slow. And I watched, and it went down the road, turned in the driveway, and turned around and come back. And he turned in my driveway, and I didn't know who it was. And I walked up to the car, and it was one of my cousins. We used to party together, and I wasn't expecting, or didn't know what he was going to say, so I walked up to his window, and we were just talking there for a minute. He said, I bet you'll never guess what happened to me. And I said, what? And he said, I got saved. I've been going to church. And I said, you're kidding me. And he said, no. He said, why don't you come to church with me tonight? Once again, the Lord was there and saved me. So that night I went with him to church, me and my daughter. And then that December 2001, Ruby Pettit gave me my first Bible. This Bible right here. And then in February of 2002, I was baptized. My sister